if I told you that the man who created the greatest show on earth also wrote the blueprint for making money that's still relevant 150 years later? What if his business principles could transform your financial life starting today? P.T. Barnum wasn't just a showman. He was one of America's first self-made millionaires, a master marketer, and a business genius who understood human psychology better than anyone of his era. From bankruptcy to building a fortune worth over $40 million in today's money, Barnum's golden rules for making money reveal the timeless principles that separate the wealthy from the wishful. Today, we're diving deep into Barnum's legendary business wisdom that has influenced entrepreneurs from Walt Disney to Steve Jobs. These aren't just historical curiosities. They're battle-tested strategies that work just as powerfully in today's digital economy. Over the next 30 minutes, you'll discover the 20 golden rules that made Barnum rich, learn how he turned entertainment into empire, and most importantly, how to apply his proven principles to build your own fortune in the modern world. Whether you're starting a business, climbing the corporate ladder, or just want to think like a wealthy person, these rules will change how you approach money and opportunity forever. So buckle up, because we're about to learn from the master showman himself, the man who proved that in America anyone can make it big if they understand the golden rules of making money. Chapter 1. The Barnum Phenomenon, From Failure to Fortune. Before we dive into the rules, let's understand the man behind them. P.T. Barnum's story is the ultimate American dream, a tale of spectacular failures, comebacks, and ultimately extraordinary success. Born in 1810 to a poor family in Connecticut, Barnum learned early that traditional paths wouldn't lead to wealth. His first business venture at age 25 was a newspaper that landed him in jail for libel. His first major investment, a slave named Joyce Heth, supposedly George Washington's 161-year-old nursemaid, turned out to be a fraud that nearly ruined him. But here's what made Barnum different. He learned from every failure and turned setbacks into comebacks. When his American Museum burned down twice, he rebuilt it bigger and better each time. When he went bankrupt in his 50s due to bad investments, he paid back every creditor and built an even larger fortune. The Barnum Success Formula. Barnum understood 3 fundamental truths about making money that most people miss. First, people don't buy products. They buy experiences, emotions, and stories. His circus wasn't just entertainment. It was wonder, escape, and shared amazement. Second, attention is the most valuable currency. In Barnum's era, newspapers were the internet, and he was a master at generating publicity, both positive and negative, because he knew that being talked about was better than being ignored. Third, there's always a market for hope and wonder. Even during economic downturns, people will pay for things that make them feel better about their lives. The psychology of success. What separated Barnum from other businessmen wasn't just his showmanship. It was his relentless optimism and his ability to see opportunity where others saw only problems. When competitors said the market was saturated, Barnum found ways to expand it. When critics called his shows lowbrow, he elevated them into cultural events. This mindset, seeing possibility instead of limitation, is the foundation of all his golden rules. Barnum proved that your background doesn't determine your future, but your mindset and actions do. Chapter 2. The Foundation Rules. Character and Integrity. Barnum's first golden rules focus on character, the foundation that everything else is built upon. Despite his reputation as a master of hype, Barnum understood that lasting success requires unshakable integrity. Rule 1. Be honest in all your dealings. Honesty is the best policy wasn't just a saying to Barnum, it was a business strategy. He discovered early that short-term gains from dishonesty always led to long-term losses. When he was accused of fraud early in his career, it nearly destroyed him. From then on, he made sure his shows delivered exactly what he promised, even if he promised it in spectacular fashion. In today's world, this translates to building genuine value for your customers. Social media and online reviews mean that dishonest businesses are exposed faster than ever. The companies that thrive long-term are those that over-deliver on their promises. Rule 2. Be punctual and reliable. Barnum was fanatical about keeping his word and meeting commitments. When he said a show would start at 8 p.m., it started at 8 p.m. sharp. When he promised to pay suppliers, he paid them on time and in full. This reliability became his competitive advantage. In an era when many businesses were unreliable, Barnum's consistency made him the preferred partner for suppliers, performers, and customers alike. Rule 3. Never get above your business success can breed arrogance. But Barnum never forgot that his business was the source of his wealth. He stayed involved in the details, knew his numbers, and never assumed that success would continue automatically. Today's entrepreneurs who fail often make this mistake. They get so caught up in being successful that they stop doing the things that made them successful in the first place. Rule 4. Learn something useful. Every day, Barnum was obsessively curious about new ideas, trends, and opportunities. He read voraciously, traveled extensively, and talked to people from all walks of life. This continuous learning kept him ahead of competitors and helped him spot opportunities others missed. In today's rapidly changing economy, this rule is more crucial than ever. The half-life of skills is shrinking, and those who stop learning get left behind. Rule 5. Live within your means. Despite his flamboyant public persona, Barnum was privately frugal. He understood the difference between spending money to make money and spending money to show off. His personal expenses were modest compared to his business investments. This principle protected him during economic downturns and provided the capital he needed to seize opportunities when they arose. These foundation rules might seem basic, but they're where most people fail. Without character and integrity, all the marketing tricks and business strategies in the world won't create lasting wealth. Chapter 3. The Opportunity Rules. Seeing what others miss. Barnum's genius wasn't just in running businesses. It was in spotting opportunities that others overlooked. His middle rules focus on developing this crucial skill. Rule 6. Don't be afraid of hard work. Barnum worked 12 to 16-hour days throughout his career, but he worked smart, not just hard. He understood that extraordinary results require extraordinary effort, especially in the beginning. But here's the key insight. Barnum chose work he was passionate about. When you love what you do, hard work doesn't feel like sacrifice. It feels like investment in your future. Rule 7. Use your best judgment. Don't follow the crowd or accept conventional wisdom without question. Barnum succeeded because he trusted his own judgment even when others thought he was crazy. When he decided to bring European opera singer Jenny Lind to America, critics said Americans wouldn't pay high prices for opera. Barnum's judgment proved correct. The tour was one of the most profitable entertainment ventures of the 19th century. Rule 8. Be systematic and organized. Barnum kept detailed records of everything: attendance figures, expenses, revenue, customer feedback. This data helped him identify patterns and make better decisions. In today's business world, this translates to using analytics and metrics to guide decisions rather than relying on gut feelings alone. Rule 9. Read the signs of the times. Barnum was a master at reading cultural trends and anticipating what people would want next. He understood that successful businesses don't just meet current demand, they create future demand by staying ahead of trends. For example, as America became more urban and industrialized, people craved escape and wonder. Barnum's circus provided exactly that experience. Rule 10. Select the right location. Location, location, location was true in Barnum's era and remains true today. His American Museum succeeded partly because it was located in the heart of New York City, where foot traffic was highest. Today, this principle applies to online businesses too. You need to be where your customers are, whether that's social media platforms, search engines, or specific websites. Rule 11. Concentrate your efforts. Barnum focused intensely on entertainment and didn't diversify into unrelated businesses until he had mastered his core industry. This concentration allowed him to become the undisputed leader in his field. Many modern entrepreneurs fail because they chase too many opportunities at once instead of becoming excellent at one thing first. Rule 12. Advertise your business effectively. Barnum was perhaps history's greatest self-promoter, but his advertising always served a purpose: to inform people about genuine value his businesses provided. His famous publicity stunts weren't just attention-grabbing. They were carefully designed to communicate key messages about his shows and build anticipation. In today's noisy marketplace, the ability to cut through clutter and communicate your value proposition clearly is more important than ever. These opportunity rules are about developing the mindset and skills to spot chances for profit that others miss. Opportunities don't announce themselves. You have to train yourself to recognize them. Chapter 4. The Customer Rules. Understanding Human Nature. Barnum's greatest insight was understanding what people really want and giving it to them in memorable ways. His customer-focused rules are masterclasses in human psychology. Rule 13. Give people more than they expect. When customers paid to see Barnum's shows, they got more than entertainment. They got an experience they'd remember and talk about for years. He understood that exceeded expectations create loyal customers and word-of-mouth marketing. This principle is even more powerful today because social media amplifies customer experiences. One delighted customer can influence hundreds of potential customers through online reviews and social sharing. Rule 14. Make it easy for customers to buy. Barnum revolutionized ticket sales by making them available at multiple locations and times. He also offered different price points so people with various budgets could attend his shows. Today, this translates to removing friction from the customer journey. Every extra step between customer interest and purchase is a potential loss of business. Rule 15. Create curiosity and wonder. Barnum understood that people are naturally curious and will pay to satisfy that curiosity. His advertisements hinted at amazing sights without giving everything away, building anticipation and demand. His famous "This way to the egress" sign is a perfect example. Customers eager to see this mysterious attraction would follow the sign, only to find themselves outside the museum. Egress means exit. While some were initially annoyed, most appreciated the clever wordplay and came back. Rule 16. Appeal to emotions, not just logic. People make buying decisions with their hearts and justify them with their heads. Barnum's marketing always appealed to emotions first: wonder, excitement, fear of missing out, social status. Modern neuroscience confirms what Barnum understood intuitively. Emotional engagement is crucial for motivating action. Rule 17. Create social proof. Barnum was a master at creating the impression that everyone wanted to see his shows. He would hire people to stand in lines, publish attendance figures, and showcase celebrity endorsements. Today, this translates to customer testimonials, social media followers, online reviews, and case studies that show others are benefiting from your products or services. Rule 18. Make it an event. Barnum didn't just put on shows. He created events that became part of the cultural conversation. His circus arrivals were spectacles in themselves, with elaborate parades through town centers. In today's economy, this means thinking beyond your core product to create experiences that customers will remember and share. Apple doesn't just release products. They create launch events that generate massive media coverage. Rule 19. Know your customers' real needs. Barnum understood that people didn't just want entertainment. They wanted escape from their daily struggles, shared experiences with family, and stories they could tell others. Successful businesses today understand the difference between what customers say they want and what they actually buy. They solve real problems and fulfill genuine needs, not just stated preferences. These customer rules are about understanding that business success comes from serving others effectively. The more value you create for customers, the more wealth you create for yourself. Chapter 5. The Money Rules. Building and protecting wealth. Now we get to the heart of Barnum's wealth-building philosophy, his specific rules for making, keeping, and multiplying money. Rule 20. Don't spend money before you have it. Despite his lavish shows, Barnum was conservative with debt. He expanded his businesses using profits from existing operations rather than borrowing against future hopes. This principle saved him from many of the financial panics that destroyed other businessmen of his era. When economic downturns hit, he had the financial flexibility to survive and even acquire distressed assets from competitors. In today's credit-driven economy, this rule is more important than ever. Easy access to credit tempts people to spend future income on current desires, but sustainable wealth building requires living below your means. Rule 21. Avoid speculation. Barnum distinguished between investment and speculation. Investments were based on careful analysis of business fundamentals, while speculation was essentially gambling on unpredictable outcomes. His bankruptcy in the 1850s came partly from speculative investments in questionable ventures outside his expertise. He learned to stick with businesses he understood deeply. Rule 22. Don't let money sit idle. Once Barnum had established his emergency reserves, he put every extra dollar to work earning more money. Idle money loses value to inflation and represents missed opportunities. However, he was strategic about this. Money went into expanding proven business models or acquiring complementary businesses, not into risky ventures. Rule 23. Reinvest profits wisely. Barnum consistently reinvested profits back into his businesses during growth phases. This compounding effect accelerated his wealth accumulation dramatically. He upgraded facilities, improved shows, acquired new attractions, and expanded to new markets. Each reinvestment increased the business's capacity to generate future profits. Rule 24. Diversify your income sources. While Barnum concentrated on entertainment, he created multiple income streams within that industry. Museum admissions, touring shows, real estate ventures, and later his circus operations. This diversification provided stability when individual revenue sources faced challenges. If one show failed, others continued generating income. Rule 25. Plan for economic cycles. Barnum understood that economies go through cycles of boom and bust. During good times, he saved aggressively and built reserves. During bad times, he maintained operations while competitors failed and bought assets at discount prices. This counter-cyclical approach accelerated his wealth building because he was prepared for opportunities when others faced crisis. Rule 26. Protect your reputation. Barnum learned that reputation is a financial asset that can take decades to build and moments to destroy. After early career missteps damaged his credibility, he worked tirelessly to rebuild trust with customers, partners, and investors. He understood that people do business with those they trust, and trust translates directly into financial opportunities. These money rules show that wealth building isn't just about earning more. It's about managing money strategically, thinking long-term, and protecting what you've built. Chapter 6. The Leadership Rules. Building teams and partnerships. Barnum couldn't build his empire alone. His leadership rules reveal how he attracted talented people and built the teams that made his vision reality. Rule 27. Treat employees fairly and generously. Barnum paid his best performers well above market rates because he understood that talented people create extraordinary results. His circus attracted the world's best performers because they knew they'd be treated fairly. He also provided steady employment in an industry known for irregular work, creating loyalty that money alone couldn't buy. This approach created a virtuous cycle. Better treatment attracted better performers, which created better shows, which generated higher profits that enabled even better treatment. Rule 28. Share success with others. Barnum offered profit-sharing arrangements to key employees and partners. When the business succeeded, everyone benefited proportionally to their contribution. This alignment of interests motivated people to think like owners rather than just employees. They worked harder because they shared in the rewards of success. Rule 29. Surround yourself with people smarter than you. Barnum was secure enough to hire people who exceeded his abilities in specific areas. He brought in expert managers, talented performers, and savvy marketers, then gave them the freedom to excel. His role evolved from doing everything himself to orchestrating the talents of others, a crucial transition for building scalable wealth. Rule 30. Build strategic partnerships. Rather than competing with everyone, Barnum formed alliances with complementary businesses. He partnered with railroads for transportation, hotels for accommodations, and local promoters for marketing. These partnerships reduced his costs, expanded his reach, and created win-win relationships that benefited all parties. Rule 31. Communicate your vision clearly. Barnum was masterful at painting pictures of the future that inspired people to join his mission. Employees, investors, and partners understood not just what they were doing, but why it mattered. This clear vision helped people make better decisions independently because they understood the bigger picture and their role in achieving it. Rule 32. Learn from others' mistakes. Barnum studied failed businesses as intensively as successful ones. He wanted to understand what went wrong so he could avoid similar pitfalls. He was particularly interested in businesses that failed despite having good products or services, focusing on operational and strategic mistakes he could avoid. Rule 33. Adapt to change. When audience tastes changed, Barnum changed with them. When new technologies emerged, he incorporated them into his shows. When social attitudes shifted, he adjusted his messaging accordingly. This flexibility allowed his businesses to thrive across multiple decades, despite significant changes in American society and culture. These leadership rules demonstrate that sustainable wealth comes from building organizations that can succeed beyond any individual's personal efforts. The richest people are those who create systems and teams that generate wealth continuously. Chapter 7. The Persistence Rules. Overcoming Failure and Setbacks. Perhaps no aspect of Barnum's philosophy is more relevant today than his approach to failure and setbacks. His persistence rules provide a roadmap for bouncing back stronger from any defeat. Rule 34. Expect setbacks and plan for them. Barnum didn't view failures as unexpected disasters. He saw them as inevitable parts of business that could be planned for and survived. His businesses maintained cash reserves and insurance coverage specifically to weather storms. This realistic perspective prevented him from being psychologically devastated when problems occurred. Instead of asking, "Why me?" he asked, "What now?" Rule 35. Learn from every failure. Each setback became a learning laboratory for Barnum. When his museum burned down, he studied fire prevention and rebuilding techniques. When investments failed, he analyzed what went wrong and adjusted his due diligence process. He kept detailed records of both successes and failures, treating failures as expensive education rather than just losses. Rule 36. Maintain optimism. Despite circumstances, Barnum's letters and writings reveal unwavering optimism even during his darkest periods. When he declared bankruptcy at age 56, he immediately began planning his comeback rather than wallowing in self-pity. This optimism wasn't just personal therapy. It was a business strategy. Optimistic leaders attract better people, more opportunities, and greater investment than pessimistic ones. Rule 37. Take full responsibility. Barnum never blamed others for his failures, even when external circumstances contributed to problems. He accepted complete responsibility for results, which gave him complete power to change them. This ownership mentality prevented him from becoming a victim of circumstances and maintained his sense of control over his destiny. Rule 38. Act quickly on new information. When Barnum realized a strategy wasn't working, he changed course immediately, rather than hoping things would improve. Speed of adaptation was one of his greatest competitive advantages. In today's rapidly changing business environment, this agility is even more crucial. Companies and individuals who adjust quickly to new realities thrive, while those who resist change struggle. Rule 39. Use criticism constructively. Barnum faced enormous criticism throughout his career, from religious leaders who opposed entertainment, from competitors who resented his success, and from critics who questioned his methods. Rather than dismissing all criticism, he evaluated it objectively and incorporated valid points into his business practices. This feedback helped him improve continuously. Rule 40. Keep your ultimate vision in mind. During difficult periods, Barnum maintained focus on his long-term vision rather than getting lost in immediate problems. This perspective helped him make decisions that served his ultimate goals rather than just solving short-term issues. He understood that temporary setbacks were just that, temporary, while his vision was permanent. These persistence rules reveal that wealth building is as much about mental toughness as business acumen. The ability to persevere through inevitable setbacks separates those who build lasting wealth from those who quit when things get difficult. Chapter 8. Applying Barnum's rules in the modern world. Now let's translate Barnum's 19th century wisdom into practical strategies for building wealth in today's economy. Digital age showmanship. Barnum's greatest skill was capturing attention and creating buzz. In today's attention economy, this translates to content marketing, social media engagement, and personal branding. Like Barnum, successful modern entrepreneurs understand that being remarkable is more important than being perfect. They create content that gets shared, builds audiences, and generates word-of-mouth marketing. Experience economy applications. Barnum pioneered the experience economy by selling wonder and amazement rather than just entertainment. Today's successful businesses follow this model. Apple sells the experience of elegant technology. Starbucks sells the coffeehouse experience. Disney sells magical experiences. Ask yourself, what experience does your business or career provide? How can you make that experience more memorable and valuable? Building modern circuses. Today's equivalent of Barnum's Circus might be a YouTube channel, podcast, online course, or software platform. The principles remain the same. Create something remarkable, market it effectively, and continuously improve based on audience feedback. Network effects and platforms. Barnum understood the power of platforms before the term existed. His museum was a platform that showcased multiple attractions, creating network effects where each new attraction made the entire experience more valuable. Modern entrepreneurs can apply this by building platforms that bring together multiple stakeholders, customers, suppliers, partners, in mutually beneficial relationships. Personal branding lessons. Barnum was one of history's first personal brands, becoming as famous as his shows. In today's economy, personal branding is crucial whether you're an employee, entrepreneur, or investor. Build a reputation for a specific expertise, communicate your unique value proposition clearly, and maintain consistency across all interactions and communications. Customer experience design. Barnum's attention to customer experience details, from arrival to departure, is more relevant than ever. In the age of online reviews and social sharing, Every customer touchpoint matters. Map out your customer's entire journey and look for opportunities to exceed expectations at each stage. Adaptability in rapid change. Barnum succeeded across multiple decades of rapid social and technological change. Today's rate of change is even faster, making adaptability crucial for long-term success. Build flexibility into your plans, stay informed about trends in your industry, and be prepared to pivot when circumstances change. Building systems and teams. Barnum's evolution from solopreneur to business owner who could step away from day-to-day operations is the same journey every successful wealth builder must make. Focus on creating systems, training others, and building businesses that can succeed without your constant involvement. The fundamental principles haven't changed. Attention, value creation, customer focus, persistence, and systematic thinking still separate winners from everyone else. P.T. Barnum's golden rules for making money aren't just historical curiosities. They're a timeless blueprint for creating wealth that's more relevant today than ever. Let's recap the key principles that can transform your financial future. First, build everything on a foundation of character and integrity. No amount of marketing genius can compensate for poor ethics in the long run. Second, develop the ability to spot opportunities that others miss. This comes from continuous learning, reading trends, and maintaining curiosity about the world around you. Third, understand that all wealth comes from serving others effectively. Focus on creating genuine value for customers, and financial rewards will follow. Fourth, manage money strategically by living below your means, avoiding speculation, reinvesting profits wisely, and preparing for economic cycles. Fifth, build teams and partnerships that can create success beyond your individual efforts. The richest people are those who multiply their impact through others. Finally, develop the persistence and optimism to overcome inevitable setbacks. Wealth building is a long-term game that rewards those who stay in it. Here's your immediate action plan based on Barnum's wisdom. This week, identify one specific problem you could solve for others and brainstorm ways to turn that solution into income. Next week, start building your personal brand by sharing valuable content in your area of expertise. Within a month, create systems to track your income and expenses so you can make data-driven financial decisions. Most importantly, start thinking like an entrepreneur rather than just an employee. Look for ways to create value, build experiences, and serve others more effectively. Barnum proved that in America, and now globally, anyone can build wealth if they understand and apply these golden rules. Your background doesn't determine your future, but your actions do. If you found this valuable, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Next week, we're exploring Andrew Carnegie's wealth building strategies and how they complement Barnum's showmanship with industrial scale thinking. What's your biggest takeaway from Barnum's golden rules? Which rule are you going to implement first? Drop a comment below and let's build our own greatest shows on earth, the show of financial success. Remember, as Barnum himself said, fortune always favors the brave. Now go be brave with your financial future and start applying these golden rules today. The greatest show of your life, your journey to wealth and success, is about to begin.